Welcome to Knowledge in the Word again. Wow, what can we keep saying? Every week it gets stranger. It was prophesied to. The spirit that we've been talking about, antichrist, it's live and well. Law, antichrist, literally, in the execution would be lawlessness. Christ came to fulfill the law. That's what he said. I came not to destroy the law, but to fulfill the law, while they were telling him he was breaking the law. Men who have positions of power, unless they realize that God gave it to them and they yield to the righteous lawmaker and the righteous judge, then we have lawlessness. I don't think you've ever seen anything quite this divisive in our country. When the country was first starting, were voting on speakers of the House, and we just went through this 11 votes or 12. They got all scared about, oh, you guys are disrupting things. Why don't you just work together? No, this is the way it is. They didn't want a speaker just going the way the same speakers of the Houses were going before. This is a very spiritual thing that's set up this country. So was Israel. But when lawlessness continues, God gets sick of it, and he turns you over to your enemies. And quite frankly, we've been turned over to our enemies really since B.O., if you know. But that was the blatant takeover. We'll play something for you here, and you get an idea of, tell me if this isn't an anti-Christ spirit right here.
Let me just ask you, does your department have a problem with anti-Catholic bias?
Our department protects all religions and all ideologies. It does not have any bias against any religion of any kind.
Well, you could have surprised me, because given the resources that you are expending.
Now, this is a real key to our country. Where we're at, digital dollar, New World Order, the fall of Babylon, Mystery Babylon, mother of harlots. Try to keep as much info for you as you can understand. You have to get in the scriptures yourself, understand. You're not flying away. We made that very clear. Go look at some of the older tapes. This is a part of the enemy's plan to keep you under confusion, to wear out the saints. Is a prophecy about the last days, about men and women of God who would be waiting for his return. Patiently doing good until, occupying till he comes. Okay? Well, now we are full on waiting for the plagues to come. And once we've hit that stage, whether you're in it now or not, I think you might very well be in this stage. How much more can we continue to have? Earthquakes, floods, confusion in the skies, UFOs. Then they say they're not. Then it's just confusion every day. It's prophesied to be this way. That's what Babylon is. That's what's spoken about in Revelation. This man is a lawyer. What did Jesus say? Let's just read it for you. About lawyers. The last president wasn't a lawyer. He was a businessman, kind of like Cyrus, 45th chapter of Isaiah. He was an unholy king, but God put him in charge. Cyrus, you're the anointed. That's the same thing he uses for Jesus. Did you know that? You're the anointed. I'm putting oil on you for a position. An ungodly king had to rebuild the walls and the cities of Jerusalem. That's all Trump was trying to do. They're a cyclic thing. I don't care if you like the man or not. It's got nothing to do. I didn't like him talking about stupid vaccines either. Hey, man. You're in a position, you're surrounded by jackals and beasts and crocodiles all over. The man doesn't know anything but God set him in that position. He is the only one that did what he said he would do and didn't get you into war. And the guy got up this morning in the jacuzzi. He was so upset that I was talking about Joe Biden and what a joke clown that this guy is. He literally is. God put him there to do it because we wanted him. So God gives you what you want. You want fools to lead you? That's what he'll give you. Anyway, woe unto you lawyers. Let's just read what Jesus said. And he said, woe unto you lawyers, for you laid men with burdens grievous to be borne, and you yourselves touched not the burdens with one of your fingers. I'll send my goons to go do my dirty work for me because I'm such a little weasel that I can't do it myself. The low lives that we have put up, God has allowed, and that shows you, I'll give them the desires of their heart. That's the state we're in. God says, I lift up nations and I put them down. I lift up kings, and the king's heart is in my hands, and I can guide it like the rivers and put it in any direction I want. He did it with Pharaoh. He hardened Pharaoh's heart to show future generations the power that he had. That's what he said. Interesting. So God's in charge of all this, but some people give accolades to fools that should just be removed.
And the apparently intelligence assets that you are deploying against Catholics, it appears, and other people of faith, while simultaneously turning a blind eye while people are executed gang style in the streets of our cities, including in my home state, your answer frankly surprises me. Let's talk about the Mark Houck case, for example. You've been asked about this already today, and frankly, your answers really astound me. This is a case where a Catholic pro-life demonstrator, father, was accused of disorderly conduct in front of an abortion center. The local prosecutor...
The disorderly conduct, if you saw it, I believe it was the same thing. Woman being arrested just standing.
It's an amazing story. Isabel Vaughan Spruce is the leader of 40 Days for Life campaign in Birmingham, England. She's not a terrorist. She's the opposite. She's someone who prays a lot. Well, early this month, she was praying silently outside an abortion clinic in Birmingham. She wasn't yelling or carrying a sign or blocking a doorway or doing anything disruptive. She was just praying. Praying. Not to the government, to God. And that's not allowed anymore. So police approached her and arrested her and charged her with violating a public space protection order and committing, quote, antisocial behavior. And we're not making this up. It was caught on video. Here it is.
All of this stuff that's taking place is spiritual. The law is spiritual. That's why when men, carnally minded men, and it says the carnal mind is enmity against God. Well, God is the author of righteousness, not confusion. So look, just watch this play out and watch the spirit that this bumbling clown that is a lawyer, and God says, woe unto you lawyers, because you're not executing righteous judgment at all. And there's a curse on these people.
The Philadelphia district attorney, who is a Democrat, a liberal, very progressive, declined to prosecute. There was a private suit that got dismissed. And then after all of that, your Justice Department sent between 20 and 30 armed agents in the early morning hours to the Houck's private residence to arrest this guy.
Justice Department. Remember, we've been talking about knowledge in the... Is this justice? Our words have been manipulated purposely. They've taken words away, replacing words, boys, girls. They don't even know anymore what they are. As we know, same spirit, so follow it. Justice.
After he had offered to turn himself in voluntarily. Here's the photo. Once again, you can see the long guns. You can see the ballistic shields. You can see that they're wearing bulletproof vests. Why did the Justice Department do this? Why did you send 20 to 30 SWAT-style agents and a SWAT-style team to this guy's house when everybody else had declined to prosecute and he'd offered to turn himself in?
Determinations of how to make arrests under arrest warrants are made based by the tactical operators in the...
Did you eat of the tree? God says to Adam. Not me. The tactical operators, they do it. It wasn't me. It was the woman you gave me, Lord. This problem's, I have nothing to do. It's them. Same spirit.
District, they are not...
But you surely looked into it by this point, right? You know the answer, surely.
All I know is what the FBI has said, which is that they made decisions on the ground as to what was safest and easiest.
So
they
you
do not agree with your description of what happened on the scene.
You don't agree with my description. I'm pointing out what the photo is. There are agents here who have long guns and ballistic shields. Let's take a look at the...
You see the same spirit. They were asking a woman to sit on the Supreme Court. What is a woman? I'm not a biologist.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition? No.
Yeah.
I can't.
You can't?
Not in
Okay.
this context.
So you
I'm not a
believe the meaning
biologist.
of the word woman is so unclear and controversial that you can't give me a definition?
Well, you should be smart enough to know that bi means two. There's male and female. Duh. This is the day that we're living in. This is the future for you and your family and children. If not in God and Christ, this is the stuff that's coming down the pike. They're already here. Antichrist is coming. It's here. They're still really getting ready on the third temple. They're chomping at the bits to get in there. There is so much taking place, ladies and gentlemen. Stay in Christ. Wisdom, knowledge, understanding, peace, love, security in Him. Stay in Him. Watch the circus. Get in the ark and watch the storms go by.
The hardened criminals that your Justice Department sent these armed agents
Now look at
to go
it.
terrorize on that morning. Here they are. Here they are at Mass. Here's the 7 children with Mr. Houck and his wife. In this early morning, they were all at home. Mrs. Houck has said repeatedly the children were screaming. They feared for their lives. You got these agents demanding that he come out. They've got the guns, she said, pointing at the house.
Now in America, how much more do we need to keep going? They've just shut churches down, so we went through that. And they got more plants. They're already buying up ivermectin plants in India. Just read that. Why are you buying up ivermectin plants now? Oh, you got more plants. That's right. You need us to take the clot shots. Okay, gotcha. It's already coming out, people. We're in a war, and this is part of it.
And at them, he has offered to turn himself in. And this is who you go to terrorize. What's really interesting to me is this seems to directly contradict your own memorandum about the use of force at the Justice Department.
Hypocrites.
You say
Lawyers.
officers may use only the force that is objectively reasonable to effectively control an incident. Are you telling me that in your opinion as Attorney General, it was objectively necessary to use 20 or 30 SWAT-style agents with long guns and ballistic shields for these people?
What I'm saying is that decisions about how to go about this were made on the ground by FBI agents.
So you're saying you don't know?
I'm saying what I just said.
Which is that
those
you're
dec-
abdicating responsibility?
I'm not abdicating
Then
responsibility.
give me the answer. Do you think, in your opinion, you are the Attorney General of the United States?
Lawyer.
You are in charge of the Justice Department. And yes, sir, you are responsible.
Yeah.
So give me an answer.
The FBI does not agree with your description.
I'm not asking about the FBI. You are the Attorney General. Give me your answer. Do you think that it was objectively reasonable and they followed your guidelines in sending 20 to 30 armed agents to terrorize these people? Yes or no?
Now, the only winner, again, is this Federal Reserve, this evil entity that has printed and stole your wealth. That is evil. They stay in charge the more wars you produce. They stay in charge the more government they hire. They stay in charge. That's why they're on the top of the pyramid. These poor people just got to get a poor paycheck. Then they disregard any righteous or justice or lawfulness at all. And we got these kind of people.
The facts I have, which are those presented by the FBI, are not consistent with your description.
See, it's you're describing something that's not the way we describe it. Again, I'm not a boy. I am a girl. I'm describing it. This is garbage. This man should be arrested, to tell you the truth.
Think it was reasonable.
I'm saying the facts are not as you describe.
What, that the children weren't there? That there weren't long guns there? That there weren't agents? What do you dispute? What's the factual premise you dispute? Be
FBI
specific.
said they don't agree with your description of
Be specific. They don't agree with what?
of how many agents, of the agents who were there, and of what their roles were. They don't agree.
Do you know the
That's all I can
jury
say.
in this case acquitted Mr. Houck? As I'm sure you're aware. Do you know how long it took him?
I am aware, and we respect the decision of the jury.
Do you know how long it took him?
I don't know.
1 hour. 1 hour. Philadelphia District Attorney declines to prosecute. The private suit's dismissed. You use an unbelievable show of force with guns that I just note liberals usually decry. We're supposed to hate long guns and assault-style weapons. You're happy to deploy them against Catholics and innocent children. Happy to. And then you haul him into court and a jury acquits him in 1 hour.
There's a verse of scripture that's very clear, and it says, the wicked were created for the day of destruction. The aurora boreas in the heavens that you see, the snake, the serpent eating its own tail, the wicked destroy themselves. The people that let this man go mentality are the same liberal, lefty, communist, dictatorial, authoritarian, satanic, Luciferian freaks that think everything is fine. They let him go. So it's showing the lawyer is a hypocrite, exactly like Christ says. And most of these people in office, and it does say to pray for those in charge. I ask you to pray for that, Holly. Pray for these guys that are actually trying to do something, at least for the country. God has a plan, without a doubt. This is ending. Tomorrow, you don't even know if you have. We don't know about tomorrow. Your life's a vapor, all of it. We fight the good fight. There is a kingdom that's coming. They're trying this new world order. This is part of this nonsense. One world court. Why do you not have any hearing about what took place with the Georgia Guidestones still? They blew up the Georgia Guidestones, 10 rules for humanity, in 8 languages that don't even speak anymore. It was a whole New World Order guide stones for the New World Order nonsense. This is part of their system, but it's fallen apart daily. Thank God it is. So you can watch the rest of this clip yourself, and I tell you, there's just too much going on. But I wanted to show you the spirit and age that we're in, coming after all of us, buddy. But they lose in the end. Thank God he does. Fight the good fight. Take unto you the whole armor of God, he says. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience this race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the Majesty on high. What's he doing? He's purifying a people unto himself, where we want to get rid of all this flesh and filthy thoughts that we're thinking right. This is supposedly righteous judgment in the earth. This is evil. And we're dealing in the time of antichrist. But Christ in us is the hope of glory. Fight the good fight, and we'll see you next week. God bless.